Let's talk Makiwara. This is the original karate punching bag. Here's one being worked by legendary figure Masoyama. And this object has been called the most controversial training tool in traditional karate. We'll get into that, but first, here's me doing my best on one. You'll notice as I progress, I use different kinds of punches, actually 3, and I strike at different levels. This one here allows you to do kind of the speed bag rhythm, and you'll see why when I show you the construction. Here's a traditionally constructed modern one. There's different ways of making these that we'll get into. But yeah, that little bit was pretty tiring. It's a good piece of training. I like these, but I don't use them a lot. Here's why people recommend you don't use them a lot. I love traditional karate. I've been doing it for decades, but no, I don't need my hands to look like that. But you can see the rationale, right? You're armoring your knuckles with, in this case, calluses. The thing is, many say they do that, but also cause serious structural damage to your hands over time. Here's a cross-section of a traditional construction method, by the way. And Okinawa, the birthplace of karate, is not alone in this concept. There's an old Chinese text about basically breaking the bones in your hand purposefully so that you can reform them, so they're better shaped for punching. Here's a modern Makiwara. It's kind of a descendant of the original. Here's the one I used in the demo, and it's much more traditional than that. But as you're going to see in the construction, it takes advantage of modern technology. So you're going to see a really stout metal frame and a spring. Here's the spring. And that's what allows it to bounce backwards, as it did when I was striking it. And this takes us back to the controversy, too. Some karate masters say, no, the Makiwara was never about developing calluses on your hands. It was for developing power and focus in your strikes, and you don't have to damage your hands to do that. And I agree. I think the Makiwara should have flexibility, as most do. I think it should have appropriate padding, right? It's not about trying to prove you can punch something super hard. It's hard enough. This one here has padding, and you can hear the sound. And that's definitely the sound of, hitting something hard, it's almost like a baseball bat hitting a ball. But it still flexes, which makes you push against it, so you're developing that power, making sure you're using your whole body in your strike. And the fist toughening, while still there, is more incidental. As long as you don't abuse it or abuse your body, then you don't end up with freakish hands. And you can use these in a bunch of different ways. You can stand sideways to it, relative to it, so you can hit it with like ridge hands and chops, circular strikes. You can use elbows and kicks, and there's pictures from the old days of people doing those kinds of things with them, so I think they're a lot more nuanced than is mostly understood. There are my knuckles after going at it several times. As long as it's just occasional, I think it's a great training aid, and worth keeping alive as a karate tradition. Thanks.